Hello and welcome to another episode of LGR Play. I'm not your usual host, Mark Hamer. I am actually the lesser spotted, lesser voiced southern imposter, Mark Chazzee Reay, and I've been allowed to fly solo on this episode to tell you a little bit about the event I went to the other day at the Microsoft store in Oxford Circus. It was the Xbox Showcase. Now, just for transparency, I should let you know that I won these tickets on a Twitter prize draw, and they were tickets to go and see the latest Xbox games at the Microsoft Store launch event. They also gave me a lovely black t-shirt and 14 days of Xbox Game Pass Ultimate. So take that as you will, and anything I say from then on, please obviously take it with a pinch of salt. So, on to the event. What happened? What was being shown? Well, it was a bit of a strange one because there was a lot of stuff there that we've already seen or has already been released. Stuff like a little lesser known game, you may not have heard of it. It's a block building game called Minecraft. That was there. Games like Sea of Thieves. Also, there was a big set up for Forza, but not Forza Horizon as we know it, Forza Horizon 4, but it was a setup for the new Lego DLC, which was a lot of fun, but obviously that's a game that's already been released for a few weeks now, and I was a little bit disappointed that of all the things that were being shown, a lot of it was stuff that we'd already seen, and really wasn't all that much of a wow factor. But there were a couple of pieces there that were really very interesting. The first of which was I got to get my hands on Project xCloud. Now this is something that a lot of people have been talking about in the same kind of breath as Google Stadia and those kind of, the PS4 streaming services and that kind of stuff. So it's really interesting to see what Microsoft was going to be doing with their move into the future of the streaming landscape and video games. The setup was you had an Xbox controller with like a little plastic clip. On top of the Xbox controller, in the plastic clip, was a Windows phone, which was displaying a copy of Halo being streamed. They were saying from a data centre in the south, I believe it was the southeast of England. And I have to say, it worked flawlessly. I found very minor hitches when loading into a level, but when I see hitches, it was no more than a quick, I don't know, quarter of a second stutter, and then bang, we're into the level. The controls felt very responsive. I never felt... With other services that I've played like this, they've always had that kind of weird stutter and JPEG artifacting, and everything was just a little bit fuzzy and a little bit kind of... when you watch a Twitch stream on lower settings. This was not that. It was very clear, very precise, very sort of lacking in lag, so very sharp, and I was thoroughly impressed. And the display they had there was mainly on phone screens and tablets. We weren't allowed to play on the tablets, we were only playing on phone screens. One thing I would say is that I've found that when I stream stuff to Twitch at 720p, you look at it on a laptop screen or something like that, and it's very sort of bitmappy and artifacty, but then when I watch it on the same stream archive on my mobile phone, it looks pin sharp and lovely. I wonder if they were showing this on phones as a little bit of a smoke and mirrors to show, yes, you can play this on a phone and it is great, and if you've got a great connection, but I want to see what this looks like on a bigger screen, on a desktop screen being streamed to you, and whether that will have some kind of degradation in the level of quality of the image that was being shown to me. Because like I say, when this was on, an iPhone-sized screen, it did look incredible and it ran beautifully. So really interesting to see how that shakes out and how it's going to look on other devices and on maybe lesser connections. I mean, to be fair, it did seem to be running on a wireless connection in, a Flagship store, Microsoft store. So I'm hoping they've got a pretty decent connection to this data center. So yeah, really impressive for what I saw. There are caveats to it though. Really, really interesting. The other thing that I saw and had to queue up for and got in one of the first wave of people was I got to play the escape mode for Gears 5, and I have to say I'm a big fan of Gears of War. I love all the games in the Gears of War series. Not so much Judgment, but hey ho. But this really was, it felt like Gears, it looked like Gears, but this game mode gave it a lovely twist in that it was more like a roguelike, a squad-based roguelike. You entered a level, you were searching around for ammo, you were searching around for equipment, guns, etc., grenades, that kind of thing. And you were basically in a team of 3, and each one of the characters had its own special unique ability. The unique ability I had was more of a tanking ability that I could throw up a shield, a bit like a small Reinhardt or Bridget shield from Overwatch, to protect the squad. One of the other character players was would be able to give you ammo and resupply the team. So, and then I think the other, I don't know what the other player had as their special move, but I wasn't really paying much attention because I was too busy being, got at by all the different grunts and such. But game feels incredible, feels exactly like Gears, but it's this escape mode has this lovely sort of roguelike element where you're wandering around a map, opening it up, checking corners for different loot, different ammo, different equipment, and then moving on, trying to clear out as many of the nasties as you can, and then moving on, getting to the end of the level, getting into a lift or a decontamination unit or such, and then you move on to the next wave, the next level, as it were, of the escape mode, and you go up and up and up through the levels. There was a lovely moment where we had a bit of a boss rush. We got into a room, a big hulking boss appeared. We got shocked, as in not shocked in the game with electricity, but actually physically shock, because he was right in front of us. So I had my shield ability, turned that on, very much like Reinhardt, just got in the front, tanked away. My team shot through the shield, and I was able to kind of tank enough to let my teammates take the guy down without too much damage being taken. And it was a lovely moment that it was giving us an opportunity to force each other into cooperative teamwork together. Because you've got these separate special abilities, you've got to be calling out to your teammates to resupply ammo, because if you don't, ammo was very scarce. It was very, very difficult to find, and if your ammo guy isn't resupplying ammo all the time, then you're going to have a real hard time getting through these levels. So the more you can communicate, the more you could talk to each other, and that's what we were finding was actually getting us through the level. And yeah, it was just making it for a much, much more fun experience. Be interesting to see what this game is like with randos, how much griefing can happen, if people aren't, if you get match made with people that really aren't interested in cooperating and teamwork, will that really, really ruin your experience? Well, it will really, really ruin your experience with this, but will it really just dampen the whole thing if everyone's just lone wolfing it? If that's the case, this mode is just not gonna fly. But from what I played, once everyone gels and gets there, starts popping off special abilities, helping each other, ducking down behind the same waist-high wall, and attacking a boss, it's got that Gears of War magic from way back when, and I thoroughly enjoyed it. I've got to say, having played this demo now, I'm far more excited to see and play more Gears 5 in the future. And that was about it. There wasn't anything else really that they were showing at this event. It was lovely to be able to get my hands on, especially xCloud, especially the Gears 5 stuff. And I was a little bit disappointed that the other stuff that they were showing was all stuff that, we can either play at home or we've been playing for years. So yeah, it was a bit of a strange event, a bit of an odd event, because it was also based around the launch of their new flagship store in Oxford Circus. So yeah, it was just a very, very odd, strange atmosphere. But one I'm glad I got to experience, because I got to experience at least 2 amazing great games. One other thing before I forget, they also showed Battletoads there. I got a little bit of time with Battletoads. It's not a game that I've ever played from way back in the day, because I never owned a Nintendo console before the DS Lite. So no, I can't compare to, this is what, it was great back in the day, XYZ. But what I can say about Battletoads is it's beautiful on a HDR screen. Very well illustrated. If a little bit slavish to it feels like it's slavish to the animations of the previous game. It feels a little bit herky-jerky in certain places. The tone is obviously aping the tone of the previous game, so that's a little bit... I found it a little bit grating. Others may not. Others may find that incredibly wonderful and nostalgic, but for me, it did nothing for me. But I have to say, very smooth sort of game. Side-scrolling beat-em-ups, I mean, nowadays they're not the most, sought-after game in the world. Can I see this one doing well? Not really, but it's a great nostalgia piece, but it did nothing for me, unfortunately. But yeah, hopefully, fingers crossed, if you're a big fan of Battletoads, if you always wanted it, this might, rekindle some love in the game that you've, you had from way back in the day in the 80s or whatever, or 90s. But yeah, did absolutely nothing for me. Anyway, so that is my quick roundup of everything that was at the Xbox Showcase. So all that's left for me to say is, if you like this video, please do like and subscribe to our channel, because we have loads more amazing videos that we put up, or we try to put up every week. Also, we do run a podcast called Lapsed Gamer Radio, and you can find us on iTunes, Spotify, and anywhere you can get your podcasts. So if you could go and check us out, that would be amazing, and subscribe, that'd be brilliant. We also have a website, lapsedgamer.com, where you can find everything that we do posted up there. And if you'd like to email us with feedback, then just drop us a line at lapsedgamerradio@gmail.com. Thank you for listening, and hopefully I did Mark proud on this episode. And yeah, hopefully I'll get to do another one of these episodes solo again soon. Thank you for watching.